I doubt not God is good, well-meaning, kind, and did he stoop to quibble, could tell why. The little buried mole continues blind, why flesh that mirrors him must someday die. Make plain the reason tortured tarantulas is baited by the fickle fruit. Declare if merely brute caprice dooms Cepheus to struggle up a never-ending stair. Inscrutable his ways are, and immune. The catechism by a mind too strewn, with petty cares to slightly understand what awful brain compelled his awful hand. Yet I marvel at this curious thing to make a poet black and bid him sing. Y'all, I don't know why that just moved me. Like, it really moved me. But that's Countee Cullen. Yet I do marvel. And for the last 4 days, I've just been saying, like, yet I do marvel. And I know the poem. But I don't have the poem committed to memory. And, like, if you go a couple years without reading the poem, you're going to forget. And so now that I'm reading it, I'm like, first of all, how it hit in undergrad is not how it's hitting today. Somebody recognize. First of all, shout out to my guy, Countee Cullen. What's up? Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about, like, what he's saying. Like, if it ain't ringing true to you, because it came up in college a lot, and I guess I didn't understand it, but I get it now. He starts off, we can take it line by line. I'm going to move for it. He starts off, I doubt not God is good, well-meaning, and kind. Like, I believe in God. My faith is there. I know he has to, I get it. Saying most of us, right? That he's very much where most of us are. And said, and if he stooped to quibble, could tell me why. Like, if he took the time down to waste time talking to me, he could explain all the things that are happening. Like, why is there a blind mole that has to dig underneath? Like, why does that exist? Why is humans, why flesh that mirrors him must someday die? Why do humans die? Like, why does that happen? Like, if you're a God and we're made in your image, why do we die? He doesn't understand that. Make plain the reason tortured tarantulas is baited by the fickle fruit. That one I'm gonna look up. I'm not even gonna lie. It's already in the search bar. Let's see what they say, because I don't know. Line 5 to 8. It says, I'm sure God could explain why Tantalus, a figure from Greek mythology, punished with endless hunger and thirst, is haunted with fruit that's constantly just out of his reach. Okay, so I didn't know that part. So that's what he's saying. And then he goes on to say, declare if merely brute caprice dooms Cepheus to struggle up a never-ending stair. And so he's talking about another Greek figure. And he says, like, God would be able to clarify if it was just some cruel whim that doomed Cepheus to push a boulder uphill forever. I don't know if y'all remember that Greek story where he has this rock and he's trying to push it up a hill, and it just never makes it up the hill. So every time you see the image, it's like a man pushing a rock, but the peak is just out of reach. And so he says, like, why would you have someone always in constant pursuit of something that they can never have? You know what I'm saying? He's like, I don't know, but I'm sure God would be able to tell me if he ever had the time to talk to me, because I'm sure he's busy. This is trivial. But he says, he keeps going. He says, inscrutable his ways are. Like, they are, I don't understand. And immune to catechism. I don't know what catechism means. I ain't gonna lie to you. Catechism. Oh.
Catechism.
A summary of the principles of Christian religion in the form of questions and answers used for the instructions of Christians. So he says he doesn't go by that shit. He doesn't go by that. Like, he doesn't go by that. By a mind too strewn with petty cares to slightly understand. So he says, like, the human mind, it's almost like the people that, like, claim to be not antagonistic, agnostic, which is like the belief that God does exist, but he is way too powerful and too dynamic for my little bitty brain to understand, which I kind of feel that way. Like God is way too dynamic of a force that my small mind would ever be able to comprehend. That would be like me expecting an ant to explain the activity and the actions of humankind. Like, I don't think they know. They don't even know we up here for real. They probably sound like a myth. So that's what I get to understand from that. And then he says, what awful brain compels his awful hand? And I don't think he means awful, like how terrible, deplorable this man is. I used to think that. Shout out to my professors who let me share that silly analysis in class and didn't correct me and just let me have my opinion. I used to think that, but when I think of the word awful now, I think of it as more like grandiose, overwhelming. You know, what powerful brain compels his powerful hand? Like, what's he think? Like, what are you thinking? Like, he is like, Countee Cullen is like, what is he thinking? But he's like, yet I do marvel at this curious thing. I marvel. I am compelled. Like, I'm always thinking about. I'm in adoration and admiration of God. He says, because he made me black and then asked me to be a poet in a world that's super racist. Why you do that to me? And like, I feel him. Like, even if you take out the last line, to make a poet black and bid him sing. Like, mind you, Countee Cullen was like gay. He was black. And if you look at how he sets up the poem, perfect. Like, he could take this over to Europe and be like, here, Shakespeare, black people can write. And one part of this was him explaining and showing black people can write just as well as white people. Like, stop playing with me was one part of the way he set this up. Because if you look at the structure, you look at the format, you see how he's hitting the rhymes, everything is perfect. He starts alluding to Greek mythology, saying, not only do I know my shit, but I know your shit. But then he says all of that. He says that I'm black and I can sing and look how y'all do me, even though I can operate and move just as well, if not better, than my white counterparts. And contemporarily, I love it still because he's like, because I mean, I feel like, yet I do marvel. Because sometimes I'm just on earth like, why you make me go through all of this suffering? Like, why I'm going through all of this suffering, Lord? Like, what happened? Like, what is it? Like, what is it all for? And I don't know. But it doesn't stop me from praying. It doesn't stop me from showing up every day and trying. It doesn't close my heart. Like, the last thing I would ever want is like to close my heart and like miss out on the message and miss out on the best parts of life. And I think sometimes my own anxiety kind of puts me in a place where I'm gonna miss out on the worst parts of life, the best parts of life. But that's a different. That's for my therapist and not for y'all. But yeah, like this, like, oh my God, you created so much suffering for so many things, for so many people. Why? But also, thank you for letting me be here. But also, man, I just can't figure it out. But I know it's beyond my understanding. But I can't stop thinking about it either. Because what is this? And that is Countee Cullen, yet do I marvel. I love Countee Cullen. Right down to the Pharaoh Langston Hughes. Period, poo. Yeah, so I will accept, I feel bad for his wife who had to experience him running off with a man. That shit was, hopefully they had a better understanding than the media did about it. But anyway, I'll be back with more videos. Y'all tell me what y'all want to see. I know I didn't hit 28, but I did hit a lot. And I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that, because that's hard work. Shout out to the YouTubers who do hit 28-day vlogs in a row, because y'all must be catching that check already, and I ain't there. One day I'm gonna be like, hey, this is my money maker, and I'm here every day of the week. But it's just not today. I got work. So